InShalla and Ashe. Let me get my little butt over here. It's been a hair day, I'll tell you. Couldn't get my cute little thing to work, so I got a hat on. However, blessings to you, my energetic beings, and just know that transformation is in the airwaves. Just taking in a breath of fresh air. Take in a breath and take a pause to really enter into your heart center. An otherworldly point of view is shifting. We have a new moon that's innovating aspects inside of us in our day-to-day. And we are on the threads of the Chinese New Year. And also, we have Imbolc. So this frequency is the vibration that may be cascading us off energetically through the entire year. So it really is a year to release and let go of the things that really shatter our ability to ground, or earth shattering, and stay in the channel of love. Today is February 1st. It's a talented Tuesday, if you will. And welcome to today's daily snippet. I am your host, a practicing holistic Sha'medium, a subtle energetic surgeon. My thing is to merge the indigenous technologies, the spirit of West Africa, if you will, the subtle energies, the elements, the elemental beings, basically the elemental realm into the imaginal realm, doing offerings, rituals, and prescriptions to really add to the cosmic soup in your personal container. But again, my true intention is to merge the indigenous technologies with these subtle realms to assist you into navigating your prime directive, your inner genius, literally reintroducing you to and through the magical being that resides within you. My name is Tonya D, and welcome to my virtual medicine room. So we are in the energy of this new moon, possibly feeling a little bit otherworldly, really, in a spirit kind of sense, just adding again to our cosmic soup, the cosmic soup dish or the ingredients. And for those of you that are commenting and sharing, stay tuned as I have a bonus card for you as well. And with that, let's first up, here we go. We have the King of Cups. And possibly you can see he's got this soft gaze. He's reaching for his singing bowl in the distance there. So when something unexpected comes into the King of Cups awareness, into his field, something that may shake another person's composure, their frequency, send them into a state of stress or anger, he actually regulates his emotional state with his mature, practiced, meditative energy. You can tell he's wise, right? Just finding that sweet spot between our empathetic or spiritual heart and our intellectual or spiritual mind. It's like the difference between a contemple and a genie in a way, actually. But that's the key to having a successful kind of style within leadership. Just allowing our emotional intelligence to be that beacon, that guiding light, as we seek to marry or at least possibly engage with logic, kindness, and love. That's like the cosmic soup bowl. So if you're in a situation that asks you to navigate through troubled waters, say, or tumultuous energy, you know, you have to find your sacred space, your grounded serenity, by calmly choosing with care. That's why the breath and the pause comes in. And have like this diplomatic energy over the force, being that the king is otherworldly, meaning that it's reversed. It's a suggestion that we may be feeling withdrawn, moody, maybe a little temperamental, temperature control, or you might just be losing touch with how others are feeling at the same time. So stay clear of situations that feel emotionally kind of manipulative, I would say, and instead seek to really understand others through your empathy and your tolerance and your compassion. It's like this emotional fulfillment, you know, is going to be yours, and just know that your heart truly holds deep wisdom and love. So we can use it to really connect and lead. So it's an opportunity to work with our subconscious mind, diving into our own personal self-care, being in touch with our emotions, those thread lines. And honestly, sometimes being triggered, we kind of turn into our own drama king or queen, if you know what I'm saying. However, followed by the king, we have the Hierophant. Beautiful, fun card there, the steps, right? So as we search for our divine truth, we create frameworks of belief that assist us to literally expand our consciousness, our awareness. So it's like grounding our faith into this reality. Possibly we've been stuck in an old tradition, a structured way of acting or being that is no longer really serving us, quite frankly. So it's time to just let that all fall away in order to make peace and space for a better version of us, ourselves. So the Hierophant serves as a gateway between divine source and the seeker. So just be open to new paradigms, perspectives, different teachers in your life. Look to patterns around you and just strive to understand your own internal compass, your own internal barometer, and know that while there is wisdom in the teachings of the mystics, the voice of our own heart is the one voice that truly matters the most. So really find the wisdom of the heavens within yourself. And being that we are our own guru, the guidance that we need is totally rooted in our faith, our belief, and our own unique essence. So it's a message that our systems are outdated or our ways of thinking, and it's time to rebel against the societal norms. You know, we've witnessed a bunch of abuse of power, and we have our ego-based leaderships that aren't heart-based. So there's a need to really connect with spirit through and to. So just following those threads, that's totally a message there. That's the beacon of it all. And then we have, following that, is the Eight of Cups. So hopefully you can see that she's released her last cup into the sea. Her bowl burning ceremony is over. I don't know how yours was, but mine was super juicy last night. But it's time to walk away from something in our lives, you know, or is it? Just choosing our own sacred dream, especially when you're feeling disappointed. So, you know, that's one of the biggest acts of self-love that we can actually enact or reenact. When we take that very first step, we begin to choose ourselves first. And there's nothing more healing or more powerful, actually, than finding our resolve and unhook the knots and the anchors that are really holding us back. So through our disillusioned heart, you know, sometimes that might require some TLC, where we can realign our path by shedding those outgrown expectations, the hopes, the people, the ideas, the beliefs, the guilt, or ways of being. So if you feel confused or exhausted within yourself, jumping from thing to thing, just know that you are entering a mystical period of intense shifting. That releasing all those stories will assist us to travel lighter and go in the direction of our epic dreams, our happiness, our joy, our peace, our gratitude, etc., and just greater galactic meaning, just walking away from negativity and choosing ourselves in a rebellious act of our own personal self-love. So it's time to release that which no longer is serving us. So doing a ritual of releasing an offering, we are moving this stuck energy, and it is just time, right? Even leaving our old reality to actually pursue a new one. We really are walking away and we are letting go, right? So this is for Miss Chamberlain, if you're tuning in there. This card I pulled for you, but I think all cards resonate with anyone, quite frankly. So thanks for commenting. This is the Queen of Swords. However, she is otherworldly, which I think we all could relate to because we're all a queen sometimes, right? Actually, we're all queens all of the time. That or a high priestess or a princess or whatever. But the Queen of Swords, you could see that she's this highly astute, kind of intellectual, honest. She's kind of watching calmly over her queendom. She's graceful, she's logical. Her wisdom is like framed in truth and proof, and she literally avoids the gossip or the fluff that others may want to hear, right? There are people that thrive in chaos, I guess, energetic hiccups and all. But she's asking us to be honest in our relationships, direct in our speech, be witty if you want to be funny, but above all, to really bring your clear-headed, unbiased, reasoning to the table, to the forefront. So sometimes this communication style can come across as cold or cutting. You know, I haven't solicited advice. So if you're having trouble communicating something that is difficult for another person to hear, just know that you can always kind of dip your toe in the cup of empathy and compassion to help with your delivery, your tonality. You know, sharp analysis creates paralysis, and just careful considerations always intelligent. Those are the better moves. So it's as being able to like clearly connect with others in a way that's easily accepted and understood. You get in the flow, you have a clear heart and a clear mind and a clear conscience. And that will allow always you to kind of speak your truth, right? So speak with wisdom, speak with clarity. Sometimes you might appear sharp, sometimes you might appear cold in your inner communication. So really strive to use your words wisely and refrain from being mean or emotional. So it's kind of a message to use your head more and your heart less, or maybe a little aloof possibly, could be a little bitter, but it's all about balancing, totally, right? And then, oopsie, gotta love that. In the emotional realm, I mean the elemental realm, we have a Yin Wood Rooster. So we are really finishing up the ox year as we prepare for the water tiger. So being that we are in transition and we're at the end here, and the earth is a transition phase from one phase to another phase, the water tiger is literally calling for us, right? And I called it the Bengals, the tiger, and the blue jersey in game 2. However, sorry, not sorry. I'm not really a football watcher, really, but that was curious. However, my dad wanted to watch it, so I kind of had to tune in a little bit here and there, cooking my little house therapy. Thank you, Mother, for that. However, we have a very yin, yin, yin day, so it really is a day to go inward, go very inward. The yin wood is like grass or a bamboo. It's flexible, it's resilient, so when a strong wind comes to blow it over, it then reshapes itself and goes back to the original form. So our day has hidden support in the ox branches, but there's so much refined metal, which is in opposition to our day. So metal is structure, decisions, managers. In this case, it's false leadership, it's lies, it's deceit. It's like when somebody looks refined and all polished, but on the inside, they're really full of decay. So this really is kind of like getting ready for the rug to start shaking, the debris and the cosmic hiccups, the energetic, trivial, crazy. So it's this appearance of quality leaders in our society, and then having a realization that it was all really unrefined massaging, if you will. But the rooster, the energy of the rooster, I really don't talk about the hours. I kind of bring those up in the days. But if you're born between 5 and 7 p.m., you have the energy of the rooster, and that energy is fearful. So it's like cocking your head side to side and always looking for something or someone who's going to kind of do you in. You're kind of running around, literally, you must admit, or in some way, like a chicken with your head cut off. And I've been around roosters, actually, and chickens. But oftentimes, this is because energetically, you are floating from one thing to another, just trying to keep yourself distracted, not really dealing with what's in front of you, like what's on the table. So the energy of the rooster can have fertility problems, maybe suffering, if you will, from chronic fatigue, or have other kind of tiring blood issues. So you might be asking, why is this rooster fearful? Because it's a rooster, right? Because their foundation is often rocked by abandonment. So the cocky little rooster dude, they're angry inside because of real or perceived betrayals that happened early in life. So the question is, can you really trust the universe not to abandon you? Can you ultimately trust God, universe, not to betray you? So God in this case, or in this story, is life, fate. So sometimes things are fated, so we become hyper vigilant, and our muscles in our neck becomes kind of rods of steel as we keep trying to keep up with everything. So the energy of the rooster You're always up on the news. You're reading the paper. You're watching the news, the late evening news, all the news. Doesn't really matter. You're like into it just to make sure that nothing important has happened on those cosmic airwaves that might inadvertently affect your life, your stability, your ground. So just being subjective to the feelings, they're already online. They're already in your frequency of your home and your family. That can create migraines because you don't want to see it, or sciatica, just dealing with your family. And even if you're drawn to salty and crunchy things like French fries and chips, I would bet that those are issues around childhood that are coming to the forefront. They're flaring up. So again, you might have been left behind at school or on a vacation and felt a sense of abandonment ever since, however real, that is for you, or imagined even sometimes. But these issues really come about productivity, like what you're producing and how you're perceived within your own personal village, I guess. So you could possibly become a workaholic, trying to show people your worth and your value. This is like solar plexus stuff. Maybe developing intestinal problems. That's when self-esteem isn't what it should be. Stuff like, mostly it's issues with our large intestine, actually. Things like colitis, appendicitis, stuff like that, energetically, right? Because emotions will show up energetically in our organ system. Our bones are more of our mental thinking, our thought processor. So this is an energy of feeling guilty because you feel you didn't do enough to keep your family from betraying you or betraying themselves, right? So part of the fear is really based on wanting to belong. Like, where do I belong? So you frequently feel like you're like the odd one out and nobody really wants you there. I've been there, climbed into my own skin though. So this is like similar to being a fish out of water, if you will. In order to please yourself, your hard work, your hard and harder kind of work, just seeking to make people love you by what you're able to do organically. So simply put, what this is like you need love for yourself. You need to love yourself. In doing so, it also creates this frequency that others love you for who you are. It puts the frequency out there, not for what you do, just creating an open heart, forgiving your family for whatever betrayal you feel you've experienced at their hands, at their fate, or that fatedness. Then you get in touch with your sexuality, your intimacy, and just recognizing how vital it is to functioning and being an adult, to belonging, being in a relationship even, to be one with somebody, to create. So, just welcoming the idea of procreation and knowing that you can be an amazing parent, because sometimes we stifle ourselves even with that. And just also know that you are adored by a galactic loving universe. That's the source energy, always being connected to the streams that really ultimately wants the very best for each and every one of us. And at the same time, supports us to attain that frequency. So just having an ability to cultivate, like you're grooming your own little bonsai tree, a sense of self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence, where you can stop sacrificing for the sake of the other and just drawing in somebody like a tow rope who reflects your own level of worthiness. So being just full of love, loving yourself, love for those that you work with. You're like spreading the fruits of your labors all around you, and love for what you can ultimately become. So it's time to forgive the past and let it go with the energy of today. It's like going inward, and we have the new moon, the energy of innovation, where we are innovating life. So even our subscription channel, the one that we subscribe to in the ethers, if you will, you might find that you're sensitive to your frequency, your environment, your surroundings. And you also might find that a frequency of a person or a place or a situation, the energy is like kind of flickering off and emanating off. So you might sense that something is wrong with you or even believe it to be true. But again, this is all otherworldly energy. So it's like meditation and filling through your thoughts and your invocations, your prayers and your wishes and chanting or whatever spiritual ritual you do. For me, it's always a ritual or an offering or which I will be doing more all week long because we've got so much going on. So if you need a ritual, just comment and I'll kind of see into those thread lines. But when we go inward and we turn our back to the outside world, we can sense and really identify how we are feeling within ourselves, within our essence. And this allows us to be separate from the feelings outside of us, from the feelings out into the world, so we can really recalibrate the essence inside of us. So when we connect with our feelings and our heart in our own sacred space, we can feel into our environment and into that space, that sacred space. So these frequencies, these vibrations, and these energies, we can hold sacred space for our inner corridor, our vibrations, our integrity, and we have the ability to raise our confidence, our self-esteem, our self-worth. In doing so, we're going to actually be hyper aware of all the vibrations around us. So it's like when, what we do want to embody, what we want to become in our bodies, and the higher frequencies within our higher spirit. And I've noticed seriously my frequencies, my vibrations, just rising over the last few years. I've had to clean out my cosmic cobwebs for a while, and all of it, not just the household closet cobwebs, but just having like higher wisdom, ancient frequency messages in a way, just ancient knowledge of, if you will, actually, of these frequencies and these energies and those vibrations and what they look like. So we really are kind of coming into becoming more acquainted with the other worlds, if you will, the unseen, the signs, the symbols, the meta symbols, if you will, and the messages that come in from the realms of all the little beings, the spiritual ancestors, otherwise angelics, etc., etc. So our understanding is going to create this new horizon, a new realization of our connection between the world of energy and the world that we call reality. So you might actually have the doorway, the gateway open into a new dimension or a realm, a new reality, if you will, or a new realm. Either way, it doesn't matter. That invitation is actually there. So it's this idea to sync with our energy body and our physical body, see which frequencies are in alignment within you, and what frequencies are not, actually. So both sides of the coin. So you might feel that you're being pulled by those energetic thread lines, the roping, into new aspects of learning. And when you do that, it's like places to travel, things you might want to experience. It's just really time to be free, actually, our free will. Do something you might not have ever done before. If you don't like fish, try it. So it's like fate is what happens and destiny is what we do with it. But this is like a fated decision, and you're going to know it in your corridor. So it's like, how do you believe your daily life should change with this upcoming year? Really expanding our heart space, our love out into the world on the daily, staying connected and just opening up to literally reading the frequencies. And just know whatever that you do, you're going to be more curious. On the other side, we're going to have more questions, actually. That's always more questions. But just know that trees have always shed new leaves and the branches always grow more of them. So we're all in this together. So with all of this mystical and magical energy, share the offerings and the rituals that you do. I'm about to go bless my trees, Tingang and Timbaloo, in my front yard with some goat milk earlier, and the little people in my shrine as well. But knowing that we have another magical essence too today, we have Imbolc as well. I'm having a hair wave. It's alive. It's here too. We've got 2 days of this. So it's like the wheels of fate, and our year gets to turn to this celebration. So the idea comes from the Celtic origins, the pagan holiday. It's between winter and spring there, the spring equinox, if you will. So this is an illumination, a rebirth. It's a cleansing period, which I love because we've been getting stuff out of the cosmic cobwebs closet for a while here. So it really, it's a message to celebrate a Celtic goddess. Her name's Brigid. I always thought Bridget, but it's Brigid. And she represents the safety of our home and the fire in our home. So just common rituals would be like making bread, lighting candles, cleansing rituals, whatever that looks like. But interestingly enough, the term literally means spring cleaning. And my mother literally always made us do spring and fall cleaning. So it's like of the body too, not just the house, right? So that's said to have derived from her influence, her essence. But some herbs, this is what I was doing this morning, amongst other things, to celebrate this magical being, the blessing of the sacred energy of the Imbolc. Typically, the ones used in rituals represent purification, rejuvenation, feminine energy, cleaning, clearing. So if you're kind of looking for some herbs that you can add to your celebration, if you will, Angelica, that's what that one is. That one is great. It's actually easy, right? It's a gentle herb. It's actually used for divine guidance and intuitive support. So it's kind of no surprise, you know, the name, it's the botanical name of Angelica, Archangelica, right? So that's associated with the angelic realm. But it's also a symbol of romance, feminine energy. It's really used to enhance intimacy in our current relationships with ourselves as well as with others. So that's a positive. So do use it in a ritual. Just sprinkle it around your dining room table. You can invoke positivity during mealtime. If you're going to use it solo by yourself, you know, bath water is always a great idea for cleansing, right? And what else it does is it attracts good fortune on the frequency of your mind. So just place them in leaves or a bag, put them in with your crystals, put them under your pillow. So this kind of adds blessing throughout the season and the holidays, actually, which is great. I have my little mugwort bag. I should have grabbed it. Apologies. And then, of course, basil. Who doesn't love basil, right? Oh, gosh, I just love it. Aromatic, you know, you can add it to a variety of recipes. Just eat the leaves. I actually made a basil salad once, but it represents new life. It's just a perfect herb for the season, even though I feel like it's more delicious in the summertime with the heat, right? But you can add it to dishes, all kinds of dishes. It soothes tension inside and outside, right? So it's just this easy fix that we can add to any dish, whether it's bread, salad, soup, sauces, etc. It kind of uplifts the frequency in the kitchen with everybody and in the body. So it's kind of multifunctional. I have a bunch of dried herbs. I actually have my own little funny apothecary of herbs that I create things, but we're moving into that. And chamomile, which I also love. These remind me of daisies, right? But I use chamomile, dried chamomile, in my ritual last night. So this kind of is a reminder to get us to connect with the energy of the sun. Just like sunflowers, how they follow the sun. They turn. It's so cool, right? But this holds the power for purification for the season of the spring. It's similar to Angelica, but it's a representation totally of feminine energy. So it's just a tender herb, you know. We use it a lot for teas. We can look into ourselves a lot deeper. We've got a very yin day for meditation. Even during the spring, we can utilize it in those teas, you know, to warm us up. And even after meals, especially if it's a heavy meal, to calm us down for the evening. It's also, we could use it like as flowers on a dining room table. I'm actually going to go get flowers today, possibly. Just for comforting our soul, right? Actually, any flower, let's be real. This is heather, which I thought was curious when I did my research, which is actually my sister's name, and I just met another. I actually know a few heathers, actually. But this is a lively purple flower. It doesn't show in the image, which, again, I have trouble finding images sometimes. But this is like a symbol of everlasting beauty. In Ireland and Scotland, it was used metaphorically to carve a path of a new journey. So this one's great also for just a fresh start, entering a new transitional period of life. So, you know, it's just a great magical herb to utilize. And actually, you can burn it alongside a fern, which I thought was curious because I got my ferns out front with the fairies. So it just in that combination, the power, it kind of brings in and welcomes a new season with ease and gratitude. So it's also a lucky herb that we can use alongside with chamomile as well to attract good fortune. So just consider using heather leaves as part of your centerpiece during this few days here, if you will. But even better, you could use it, the branches, literally, to sweep off the old energy, just sweep it out of your home and welcome in a fresh start. So that's super exciting as well. I don't know where I can find some. Just information, right? Sharing information. And the iris, I guess I got the Irish tongue. But this is a duality symbol. It's between winter and also spring, which we're in, right? But it has a radiant color. Again, it's symbolic of new beginnings. So it's a great flower to use for guidance towards career change or romantic relationships if you have one, or just simply a new adventure. So really welcome the energy of the iris. You can press the leaves into different areas of your home that you wish to cleanse. It's going to bring in that vibrant, high vibe energy into just different rooms in your house. And even the petals represent wisdom and faith. So that's just another good aspect of these plants in our indoor space, how they can shift the frequency and the vibration. So just know that having the season upon us, it really is an amazing time to just appreciate the birth of the new life, the emerging of it. Really, there is no right or wrong way to really celebrate any of the things. It's really just taking the time to experiment with different herbs and how you frequent them, and just really see which ones really fit in with your rituals or your offerings. And also, you know, it's really a great idea to journal your thoughts and your feelings. Have a sacred journal, if you will. I scribble in mine a lot. Your emotions throughout the day. So with our Vision Center online, the colorful third eye, all the colors cascading into our inner world. It really is a great idea to just gather some herbs, do an offering. The season is truly upon us, and we need nature on a day like today to transform, welcome in these new seasonal energies, the next cycle, the new phase of life. So it's like nature and the sound of silence for me, or the Om channel, colors of nature. I would literally bring in all of nature, literally the rainbow grid. And being that the season of Pisces, Jupiter is online as well, our spiritual acumen, just knowing sometimes the spiritual memo that's coming in for you. You might actually be attuning to the realm of spirit and all those other worldly beings. You know, I just did the elemental fire, the voices of the other world elemental, the otherworldly beings and visions and dreams and so much more. But I would Om today or chant, do your spiritual rituals, offerings, whatever you do to really connect with spirit. So I might create a fresh flower wreath or something, you know, just be creative. So today of all the days to carry out the waves into the energetic world, it really is a time to upcycle our airwaves into the realms of spirit and believe in ourselves, in our inner world as much as our outer world, so we can bring that belief like a tree to our outer world. So be clear, be confident. You are absolutely 100% worth it. And we possibly are all going to shift into a new altered space soon. So just know you are doing great. And I would just affirm that, you know, I would affirm that you love the magical being that resides within you, that you believe and you feel it to be true. So with all that, thanks for tuning in. InShalla and Ashe. Blessings to you. Just make it magical and super juicy. See you tomorrow.